A woman candidly reveals why women instantly lose interest in men the moment they show too much attention or affection. Hey guys, welcome back to Alpha Talk. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled, Why We Stop Liking a Guy the Second He Returns Interest. And guys, this article is written by a woman, and she is revealing what a lot of us, obviously, have learned the hard way growing up at different stages in our lives. That pretty much the second a girl, or a woman, knows that you are into her, pretty much her interest goes away. And obviously, the more certain she is about your interest in her, the faster it goes. And this is exactly why I tell you guys, the guys here that are watching me that are into dating and relationships and pickup and all that, this is why you've got to keep these things to yourself. This is why you can't make it so obvious how interested you are or attracted you are to a certain woman. Because it's right here, she's revealing it all the things that we've known all along. The second you do that, they lose interest. And it seems ridiculous, but that's just how it is. This is why I tell you guys that you've got to keep your feelings to yourself. This is why I tell you guys you've got to do things like, when they text you, you take your time responding to the text. Take your time responding to the phone calls. You do all these other things and make them always kind of wonder. There's always that wonder, how much does this guy really like me, you know? And obviously, it may sound like it's being very manipulative having to do this, guys. But again, as you're going to see in this article, we pretty much have no choice but to do this. Because if we don't, she'll lose interest. And you all know darn well the type of guys that generally are very popular with women and get a lot of women. The women are always, fumbling over themselves trying to get these guys. And they're always making them crazy because they never quite know where they stand with them. So, and women hate uncertainty. Let me make that clear for you guys who haven't figured that out already. They hate uncertainty, but they're attracted to it. It's crazy. So yeah, giving another reason why you never ask advice from women about other women, because they'll tell you, oh, tell her how you feel and do all these things to show her how much you like her. And then when you do, it turns them off. And that's why I tell you these things. So anyways, I'm going to jump into this article here, and I'll add my 2 cents and opinions along the way because it's definitely revealing. It starts off, girl likes boy, boy likes girl back. Never mind, girl doesn't like boy anymore. What gives? Having a crush on someone is almost like a drug. It makes you giddy and nutty, warm and fuzzy, nervous and eager. It's almost an addictive feeling, with the emotional highs and excitement we feel after just a simple interaction, acting as our fuel for the rest of the day or week if we're being honest. There's no doubt that having a crush is fun. Sound familiar in terms of like how you eventually find out the way they felt? If some of the girls admit this, we'd imagine the whole point of a crush is to get the object of our affection to like us back and eventually start a relationship, right? Well, oddly enough, it's not always. Have you ever suddenly and inexplicably stopped liking a guy the moment he returned interest? Turns out, that's pretty common. Here's why we do that. How many of you guys watching me right now, either recently or at some point in your life, have liked girls? Let me rephrase, T-Tat, you know they liked you. They would know that you were into them. But the second you showed even the littlest, tiniest interest, boom, not the minute, the second you show it, their interest drops. Like I said, and she's admitting it right here. She's going to get more in detail. That's why you guys gotta, you got to keep it to yourselves. You can't be so obvious about it. Let them always wonder where they stand with you. It's always better that they think they're more into you than you're into them. It always keeps you in the driver's seat. And again, people that are going to label me as being manipulative and all that, she's admitting it right here. This is why a guy has to do this. She says, sometimes it's about the thrill of the chase. We'd be lying if we didn't admit that a huge part of why crushes are so exhilarating is due to the sense of mystery they provide us. We wait with bated breath to know what will happen next, revel in the details we can decode in his text or body language, and daydream about accidentally bumping into him on the street. It's thrilling to find ourselves in an unpredictable situation, exploring uncharted territory with something new to us. Guys, women love mystery. Women love mysterious guys they can't figure out. This is just... And I don't care, I'm not just talking about, American women or women in the West. This is all over the world, okay? Men are hardwired to be a certain way, and women are hardwired to be a certain way. It doesn't make a difference where you live, what your religion is, what your socioeconomic background is, all sorts of things. Women are women, they respond to certain things. And men are men, they respond to certain things. And again, a lot of people don't like a lot of things I talk about, and the views and opinions I have. But this is after being on this planet for over 40 years and experiencing this. And again, she's admitting it right here. But sometimes, this ends up being the only part of the relationship that we enjoy. Our culture tends to emphasize the enchanting, riveting parts of love. We're encouraged to see relationships as only ever quenching our thirst for excitement, and made to believe that our significant other should invariably make us happy. When, in reality, relationships aren't meant to be perpetually thrilling or dazzle us the way they did in the beginning. Relationships are supposed to mature along with the people in it. Yeah, I mean, she's talking about the honeymoon period. In the beginning, of course, it's all exciting and all that, because it's all brand new. You don't quite know the person too well, so you never quite know what he or she is thinking, what they're doing. And it's a mystery. And of course, all the other fun things I'm not going to mention that are obvious are a lot of fun too, and mysterious in the beginning as well. But eventually, that honeymoon period ends when both parties get to know each other, their personalities, their habits, what they're like, what they look like butt naked, all that type of stuff, whether they're liking the sack. And the mystery starts going away. And it doesn't mean it can't last, at least for a while, but it's not the same as in the beginning. And so a lot of people become addicted to that whole beginning thing. So once a girl finds out a guy, he likes her back, then it's like, hey, the fun's over, the mystery's solved, on to the next guy. And of course, as I've told you guys countless times, women love, not just love, but need attention, validation. And obviously, some a lot more than others. It's like, a plant needing water and sunlight. And so it's like, okay, I now know he likes me, on to the next guy. And any women that are watching this, whether you like me or not, you can obviously admit there is a lot of truth to this. She continues, we always want what we think we can't have. Couldn't have said it better myself. I don't know about you, but every time I try to cut something out of my diet, I crave it like I never had before. It's an unfortunate side effect of being human to want something with a burning passion when we think we can't have it. And no, not because we're misogynists and actually enjoy not having access to what we really want. Much of the time, part of our crush's appeal is their being just out of our reach. We tend to see the people who are harder to get as being of higher value and more worth our while than someone who's too available to us. I can't stress enough, guys, the mistake you're making if you are too available to a woman. So, let's just say, initially she really likes you, and you ask her out. And you make it abundantly clear that you're free pretty much every single night of the week, and will drop anything and everyone to go and spend time with her. Her attraction for you is going to take a nosedive like that. But if you're only available once a week, and you're not available to go out with her for 2 weeks, and you're not going to drop everything you're doing to respond to her texts, respond to her phone calls, and things like that, and go out and see her, and you can't just drop everything like that to meet up with her if she happens to be nearby or whatever happens to be. You're a challenge. You're a higher value. On the other hand, if a guy does that, she's going to lose interest just like that. Just like I said. Absolutely. And how many of you guys have been in situations like that? Where, think about this, Chen, you had women that liked you, that you really weren't into, and you really didn't care. Those are the ones that not only did they like you initially, but they kept liking you because they could never figure you out. You were always a challenge to them. Meanwhile, how many women you liked that you're really attracted to? And you've made the mistake, and I've done this before when I was younger, where you dropped everything to be with them and all that, and their eye interest, boom, lost it like that. So the trick is you treat the ones that you like the ones you don't like. That's very hard for a lot of guys. You really got to keep your cool and know what you're doing. Says here, like I said, much of the time, part of the crush's appeal is just our being out of our reach, blah 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 blah. We enjoy the rush of chasing after coveted goods, and every small interaction with this person brings us a sense of victory. The idealized version of him we've made up can come crashing down as soon as he starts showing interest back, and we get a closer look at him. Let's hit the nail right on the head. I appreciate that this woman here, in this, who's writing this, admits this. This particular site that has some of these articles I get from time to time, they definitely, they're a little more forthcoming, and they admit things that a lot of us know, but a lot of women won't. And as I said before, guys, absolutely, by and large, most women do not understand what they emotionally respond to. However, I make the point saying most, because there are some that do get some things, and every once in a while, there are some that get pretty much everything. And so, this particular thing which he's talking about here, this woman gets this element of that and is explaining, and it's good to know, but she's writing this article actually to other women. But this is something guys should pay attention to. This is why I'm doing it, to help you guys out. Another element here she talks about, she says, we might not think we're good enough. Raise your hand if you have seriously low self-esteem and constantly deal with the annoying feeling that you don't deserve that job promotion, that incredibly good friend, or to have a wonderful, doting boyfriend who loves you more than anything. When we don't see ourselves as being worthy of love, we might see someone who's willing to love us and assume there must be something wrong with them. Or think, if they really knew us, they'd run, because no one could ever want to be with us, right? This can lead us to approach our romantic relationships with an avoidant attachment style, pushing away anyone who shows genuine interest and care in an attempt to save ourselves from the heartbreak we still think is inevitable. This is dead on as well, guys. How many? Why you? Said before that pretty much there's no woman out there walking around that doesn't have sent insecure about something. And surprisingly, some of the most beautiful women are the most insecure women. And as any surprise, as so many of the guys they're involved with, sometimes they're complete scumbags, right? Because a lot of them think they're not worth anything. So therefore, any actually good guy that has his life together and is not, doesn't have a criminal record, and I'm exaggerating here. But a lot don't. They're not interested in them because they think that those guys are too good for them. It's not what they're used to, and eventually they're going to realize something's wrong with the girl, and they're going to kick them to the curb and break their heart. So it's easier to go out with the guy that's the bad boy, or the scumbag, or the guy that has a record, because, hey, they're disposable. They know naturally how that story is going to end. And it sounds insane, but I'd never, ever claim that women are sane. It continues, it's possible that we're afraid of commitment. Commitment isn't exactly popular with younger generations. Marriage rates are declining as casual flings and no-strings-attached agreements are glamorized. Our culture looks at total commitment as a sacrifice of our independence, happiness, and youth. We think of the single lifestyle, where we can live only for ourselves, as far more fulfilling than giving up some of our freedom to be with someone long-term. Does this? It does not sound like the world that we're in right now. And again, guys, I tell you guys, in my opinion, knowing how things are in today's world, T2021, don't get married. And if you're going to do it, at least do it in your late 20s or 30s, when you have a whole lot of life experience, have focused on your purpose, made and saved a lot of money, got a lot of life experience, you've achieved a lot of your goals, traveled the world, become the man you are, matured, all that. Then maybe, if you find a unique unicorn, as they're called, and maybe you can consider getting hitched, if that's what you deeply and truly want. Whether it be for religious purposes, traditions, you want children. Who the hell knows, okay? But I've told you before, do your homework on the girl. Prenups.research, finding out who she is. I did a video yesterday about a guy. He found out 5 years after he was married that his wife, in college, made us certain videos that are out there on the internet, and she was an escort for 3 years. Imagine that surprise if that was you. You gotta do your homework. But anyhow, the whole commitment-free lifestyle, that's very common nowadays. But I encourage you guys, knowing how things are, you might as well do that. Enjoy yourselves, but don't blame us. We're not the ones that created this. She says, it's not uncommon for us to be afraid to commit ourselves too seriously. When we're faced with the option of being less emotionally involved by keeping someone at arm's length or jumping in head first, ready to give all in a relationship, we'll probably choose to keep ourselves safer by shutting down a budding relationship. In closing thoughts, we aren't all afraid of commitment or more interested in the thrill of the chase. There are countless reasons that we might stop liking a guy the moment he likes us back. But if that's been a theme in our life, it's worth looking into, understanding, and confronting. Well, you don't have to go too deep into this. We all know this. Just like him. I wish this information was given to me when I was younger. I didn't know this. Tease is something I didn't really come to realize until my 20s. So, for a lot of you guys that watch me now that are younger, because I got guys in college or younger than college age watching me, a small percentage, this will help you out immensely in the dating and relationship department just to understand that. It's, like I said in countless times in the video, I'm going to say one more time, this is why you've got to keep what you think about her, what you feel about her, all this stuff. Keep it to yourself, if she wants to. If this is like your girlfriend, and she's trying to dig it out of you, how you feel about her, and dig it out of you to tell you love her, eat her, do all that stuff first. And when you do, let that out in very, very small doses about how you may feel. Because unfortunately, think about this, guys. You got yourself a girl. Let's just say she's a really good one, okay? She has some traditional values, if you can find that nowadays, and a lot of the good things, and you really have a good time with her, and you're attracted to her. There's the part that wants to obviously tell her and show her, but it's sad when you do these things, and you become more of a sure thing to her, and her interest drops. It's sad that you have to obviously have that poker face and keep it quiet, but that's just how it is. So, like I said in the beginning, guys, and many times, And because of what she said right here, it's always best that they think they're more into you than you're into them. It's always best you kind of keep that quiet. Always maintain the mystery, maintain the challenge, because women love mystery, and they sure as hell love a challenge. It's actually got to be, if that's what, or those of you guys who are dating and all that. But anyhow, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you guys. How old were you guys when you discovered this? How many times did it take you to learn the hard way before you figured this thing out? And now that you know these things, how has it helped you out? Be sure to share, because lots of guys read these things, and I know the comments really help out a lot of guys, all walks of life. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.